All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a secret weapon, and believe it or not, it comes from improv comedy. It's just a simple two-word phrase, but it's fueling major innovation in some really unlikely places. I'm talking advanced AI labs, even the modern battlefield. So yeah, let's get right into it.
Okay, so to really get this, we first have to talk about the opposite. We need to identify the single biggest killer of creative collaboration. It's like this silent assassin of good ideas.
So what is it? What's the most dangerous phrase in innovation? Well, you might be surprised. It's not some super complex technical term. It's not some annoying corporate jargon. Nope, it's actually a phrase you probably hear, and let's be honest, you probably say it every single day without even realizing the damage it's doing.
There it is. No but. That's it. It sounds so harmless, right? But what it really is, it's a blocking move. It just completely slams the brakes on divergent thinking. It shuts down all that creative momentum before an idea even has a chance to breathe, let alone grow.
And if you look at the psychology behind it, it's fascinating. That little word, but, it acts like a giant eraser for whatever someone just said. It basically sends the message, hey, your contribution is invalid, and now here's why I'm correct. It's a really subtle, but man, it's a powerful way to just kill collaboration.
All right, so if no but is the villain in this story, then who's the hero? Well, it's an equally simple two-word solution. And this little principle can fundamentally rewire the entire dynamic of a conversation. And that solution is yes and. Now, I want you to think of this less as just a phrase and more like a simple algorithm for constructive communication. You affirm an idea, and then you contribute to it. And just to be clear, this isn't about blindly agreeing with everything. No way. It's about actively building on top of what's there. The core formula here is just brilliant in its simplicity. You've got two parts. First, there's the yes. That's the affirmation. That's what creates psychological safety. It's you saying, I see you, I hear you, your contribution is valid. Then comes the and. That's the contribution. That's where you add value and build upon that idea that you just accepted. Simple, right?
Okay, so that's the formula. But how does yes and actually work? Like, what's happening in our brains? Because, this isn't just about being nice or polite. It's way deeper. It's basically about hacking our own brain's default settings.
Think about it. When someone hits you with a no but, what happens? Your brain's defensive shields go right up. It's that classic fight or flight response. We feel attacked, or at least corrected, and we just kind of shut down. But when you start with yes, you completely neutralize that response. You bypass that whole defensive reaction, and it keeps the creative problem-solving parts of our brain switched on and ready to go.
And the immediate effects are huge. You maintain the flow of the conversation, that kinetic energy. You unblock creativity because people aren't afraid of being judged, and that builds incredible momentum. It's like a flywheel effect. And maybe most importantly, it validates your team members. It makes them feel heard, which is a fundamental human need. And that is the environment where real breakthroughs happen.
Okay, so this all sounds great, but you might be thinking, isn't this just some fun game for actors? Well, no. This has moved way beyond the stage. Yes and is now a serious strategic framework, and it's being used in some of the most demanding fields on the planet.
Let's start with AI alignment. I mean, talk about a high-stakes field. When you're trying to develop safe AI, you're going to run into flaws. Models are going to do weird things. And the engineers, they don't just deny those flaws. They accept them and they build directly on top of that reality. So the process looks something like this. They say, yes, we acknowledge the model's current limitations and biases. That's our baseline. And then we build the technical fix to correct them. See? They're not treating the problem as a dead end. They're treating it as the necessary starting point for the solution. Every flaw isn't a failure. It's data.
Okay, now let's shift gears to modern warfare. For a commander on the battlefield, improvisation is everything. There's a famous saying, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. And it's true. The key to winning isn't having the perfect plan. It's adapting faster than the other guy.
It's pure yes and thinking. Picture this. Yes, the bridge is blown, and we will use pontoon boats. You see, there's no time spent arguing with reality. It's about accepting the new situation instantly, that's the yes, and then immediately acting to overcome it, that's the and. This is basically the OODA loop in action. You accept the reality, and you adapt faster than your opponent. It's yes and when survival is on the line.
All right, let's bring it back to the business world. How about a high-stakes sales negotiation?
If you just directly confront a customer's objection, what happens? You create conflict, you put them on the defensive. But yes and? It just diffuses that tension beautifully.
So instead of arguing, you pivot. The customer says the price is too high. You say, yes, the price is high. And that premium is what covers the 24/7 critical support you told us was absolutely essential. Bam. You validated their concern, which makes them feel heard, and then you immediately pivot to the value. It turns a confrontation into a collaboration.
So you can see, this really isn't just about the words you're saying. It's a whole new way of thinking. It's a fundamental shift in your mindset, away from judgment and towards, well, pure creation.
And just look at the difference when you compare these two cultures side by side. The no-but mindset, that's all about risk aversion, conflict, ego, and judgment. It's about blocking. But the yes-and mindset, that's about curiosity, generativity, teamwork, and openness. It's all about building. It's really the difference between protecting my idea versus creating our solution.
And when a whole team adopts this mindset, when it becomes second nature, something really magical happens. They can enter a state of what's called group flow. It's what athletes call being in the zone. It's where the team just functions as a single superorganism. The collaboration is so seamless, so fast, it feels almost telepathic, like a single mind working on a problem.
So, at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway here? It's pretty simple. No but defends the present. It's a defensive posture, protecting what already is. But yes and, well, that builds the future. It's an open, creative stance, ready to build what's next. So the only question left for you is, what future are you going to build by saying yes and?